Hey there, Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for April 20th through 27th, 2026. Wow, well here we are in this epic planetary alignment. I'm sure you're feeling it. Such an intense and powerful burst of Aries energy, with Mercury having just moved over into Aries. Over the last few days was hanging out with Neptune, who's at 2 degrees of Aries, and now meeting up with Mercury, with Mars and Saturn at 7 degrees. It's so powerful because it's not just this. All of the planets are speaking to us in such a declare of the times that we're in. And so we're looking at this Mercury after the retrograde in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, finally catching up to Mars, but also Saturn, who's finally made it into Aries after the last couple of years in Pisces, and just had that epic conjunction with Neptune in Aries. So it's like Mercury and Mars are catching up to the game and giving their powwow, their 2 cents. Mercury taking that retrograde, that deep dive in Pisces, bringing forward whatever we might need to know about getting out of the past so we can move into the future. Indeed, that's the energy of Mercury, Mars, and Saturn here together in Aries. Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, astrological spring. And so Mars is our warrior action planet and rules Aries. So he's exalted here, very powerful, but he's got companions. He's got collaboration. And this seems to be what Neptune, sitting there at 2 degrees of Aries, is saying to us. Because we are seeing this Mercury, Mars, Saturn conjunction, Saturn representing laws, rules, and time, in the first sign of the zodiac. It clearly has an energy of a reset of time, a new beginning of time itself. That is the message. But what does that mean? And that's where we look to all the other happenings in the sky, because it's an epic thing to have Mercury and Mars and Saturn at 7 degrees Aries, exactly conjunct. But then the other planets are having their own dramatic play. And so what just happened with the sun is that the sun moved over Chiron just before the new moon. The sun met up with Chiron on the 16th of April. And then on the 17th, we had that Aries new moon. Very powerful, where we're feeling all of these planets now in Aries. And so the sun with Chiron was highlighting the moon too, because it was a new moon. So sun, moon, Chiron right there, highlighting the very end degrees of Chiron. And of Aries. And we've got Neptune at the very beginning. So these are bookends, and they're telling us about this reset in time. In fact, holding space and validating that this is a reset in time. It's like Neptune is guarding the gates. But Neptune at 2 degrees says something very important to us, especially as we look at the relationship with the nodes of the moon and this conjunction. Because the nodes of the moon have just moved to, finally, 7 degrees of Pisces and Virgo, having been at 8 degrees for the last 2 months for eclipse season and the Mercury retrograde. So that's another lineup with 7 degrees, both the North Node and the South Node at 7 degrees. So we've got this energy of the planets, again, working together, talking together, and collaborating. And is that the message of Neptune? Because Neptune is dreams, delusions, possibilities, right? Neptune rules the sign of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, that represents the dissolution, the breakdown, the going back into oneness and being reborn, and the recapitulation of examining the past. But in Aries, Neptune is like this kind of a reset of our dream and literally of our matrix of the simulation, popping out of the simulation and into our organic dream. Saturn and Neptune together. That was in February that they finally made it into exact conjunction. And ever since then, it's like we've been floating in this testing out and jumping around to all these different timelines, crisscross, nightmare, Mercury back in Pisces, and we're back in the dungeon, and everything triggered from the past. But then we had the Sun-Saturn conjunction in March, and that energy was a crossing over of the sidereal zodiac and the tropical zodiac. And so a literal, measurable X in time. So we had this initial Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and then this kind of crossroads. And now this lit lineup with Mercury, Mars, and Saturn is kind of like anchoring in to the right track, right? Where we've been bouncing around and shoring up loose ends and trying to sort through things in order to move forward. We know we're going to be moving forward in a completely new and different way. And that means this time, and that's the message of Venus right now, and all of our planets, that this is a personal initiation into the Aquarian Age, particularly for supernova souls as the leaders of the Aquarian Age. This is the energy of Pluto having made it to 5 degrees of Aquarius, as far as he's going to make it this year, turning retrograde on May 7th. And so right now we have all of the planets direct, and it's a very special, very powerful time. And going back to Neptune at 2 degrees of Aries, Neptune at 2 is speaking of working together, right? Collaboration. That we get out of this by understanding that we're connected as an organism and come back into connecting as an organism. But we also can't do that unless we claim and own our sovereign autonomy from the parasitic forces. And that's the energy with Pluto, having made it this far in Aquarius. Pluto is our power and our fear of our own power, our psychic power, where Mars is like our raw energy power. So Pluto represents this energy of leadership on another level. And in Aquarius, it's talking about our power that we should have, we need to reclaim as leaders in an Aquarian age. And reflecting back to the past Aquarian age, the Atlantean catastrophes, where there was the misuse of technology. Guess what? We've been living with the misuse of technology ever since, and to an extreme degree at this time. The misuse of technology is a total affront to Mother Earth and our bodies and human consciousness. The extent of what's gone into using these harmful technologies or technologies for harm to try to block our spiritual evolution. And now more than ever, but guess what? Nothing can stop it. It's still happening. And you can feel it. And that's the energy of this alignment of Mercury, Mars, and Saturn. It's like, oh yeah, we're owning this, right? It's not Mars out there alone being called aggressive and warlike and egotistical, all right, controlling. It's not Mercury out there like trying to say he's a know-it-all, because he just had to go into the depths of Pisces. He's in shock, and he's like, you guys, I saw some shit. We need to get our act together, and Saturn is like, what? And it's like Mercury and Mars coming together, the sheriff's posse, and there's a new sheriff in town. And Saturn is now like, okay, the structures, the laws, the rules, the resources, the energy of Mother Earth now will be used in alignment with Mother Earth. Okay, reset, back to the original dream, organic original dream. Mother's Earth's organic, loving dream, original. These are great words for us right now to say no to the games and the simulation. But Mother's message is powerful coming through that, like, you have to understand that the end game is extreme games. So if you're feeling extremely manipulated or attempting to be manipulated by your reality and forces and this, technological AI, psychological abuse for sport, so some people are experiencing as targeted individuals right now, which is most human organic souls. If you're alive and you made it this far, then they're harassing you, and so we are recognizing, though, that human consciousness, of course, is like, there can never be a computer more powerful than human consciousness. And human consciousness is coming online. And we're recognizing our dominion and our birthright as hosts, as stewards, Mother Earth's organic original dream, as her body is our body. And that technology in our body, without our consent, actually gives us dominion over this technology. That in our consciousness, because we know we're more powerful, we know we're aligned, and we stand with Mother Earth to reclaim back her resources. And the energies that come around you that are misusing technology are up for recoding and rewriting the code. And you can do this, Mother Earth's organic original code. We have it in our DNA, and they've done everything to try to block it from us, but it cannot be corrupted, and it's coming back online. So this is a powerful energy calling us into alignment. So this alignment with Mercury, Mars, and Saturn is saying, okay, are you choosing this? Mother says, reach up and grab a hold of what's possible. And this beautiful collaboration energy. So let's talk about how each of the personal planets is bringing forward their part of this great quest, this great dream, this reenactment and reawakening. So we've got Venus is in Taurus, has moved over into Taurus, and now is coming up to Uranus at the end of Taurus, 29 degrees. Uranus is getting ready to move over into Gemini. And so this is the message about the timeline alignment. According to Venus, Venus is saying this is a massive activation of our higher intuitive technologies, feminine, female energy, free energy, female electricity, free energy, ether, an awakening to the power that lies in our very own bodies. And there's a very important message she says to us, and I don't, you might know more than what she means than I do, but it seems to have to do with this ancient Egyptian stuff we've been talking about, where initiation rites went wrong deliberately. But she's like, no tools, no amplifiers. You don't need that. You can't misuse your power without external tools and amplifiers, It's like because of who you are in your alignment with me, with Mother Earth, that's the energy that she's coming forward with, is just to use that as your shield, as your power, as your armor of light, is that alignment with Mother Earth. Indeed, that's what gives us access to the electricity we're talking about. It's magnetics. And Mother Earth is magnetic and our body's magnetic, but they didn't want us to know. And they've done everything to block us from understanding and reawakening to this fact that our body is electric. And really, it's silly to push all that electricity through all those wires, all those storms knocking it down, have to go put up all those wires when we didn't need those wires. Nikola Tesla showed it to us. So we need to get this worked out, because as long as these technologies are kept hidden from us, the collective, then they can be used against us. And it's like, no more. The resources are being reclaimed. Mother Earth says, can you picture and imagine and help me see this energy that was misused for harm? Just Mother Earth just claiming it back. She can store it. We've got all these pyramids we built as master builders all over the earth. And these are made to store electricity. We know how to work this technology. We are those master builders coming back online. And that's the deal, coming back to it round and about, I know. But Venus in Taurus, her home sign, and coming up to a conjunction with Uranus in Taurus, the very end, last degree. Okay, this is our last chance. Are you going to step up? Are we going to, supernova souls? We've been finding out for the last years, we know that this energy is ours. It's been stolen from us, and our technologies are ours. And yet, how do we stand up and take it back? And we've cleared contract after contract. And yet we haven't been able to get these dreams and visions and manifestations and clearings to hold, to stick, because we've been massively manipulated in the area of time. Now, this seems to be the correction of this alignment of Mercury, Mars, and Saturn is like, all right, there's no more zigzag all over the place possibilities. You're on this track or you're off this track. Landing on that ideal optimal timeline, because you can't really move forward until you land, right? You have no idea where you're going. And if you try to make a move, you're just going to end up somewhere opposite where you're even trying to go. So the feeling of this is that now we can access the year of the fire horse energy because we can anchor in to this timeline because of this alignment. But it feels like she's reminding us to just be so present because the distractions are at an all-time high, and to just really take that time to yourself to meditate, to feel your chakras, the energy in your body, breathe with Mother Earth. It's going to get really exciting just to sit and meditate, particularly in nature and quiet by yourself. I know, what a luxury, huh? But that is all the entertainment and all the nourishment and all the hydration and all the socialization we need. And this is what's happening because we've been on this threshold of returning to the understanding and feeling and experience of what life should be, ecstatic experience. We've had all this interference with our glandular system physically and then our energy field, our ability to communicate and access the pineal gland with messages in our body. That's also been hijacked, right? Like the technologies were hijacked, technologies in our body hijacked. And so we're claiming this back at a rapid rate. But for a lot of us, it's been an incredible challenge, exhausting, 24/7 fight for what you know is true when everything is trying to pull you into this other place, and it's just, so the thing of studying astrology, and there's all these impulses like the Saturn Jupiter conjunctions, the last one in 2020, this impulse of spiritual light and possibility comes in, but the cabal or the control forces or the alien AI agenda seeks to prevent that, right? So they use time travel and manipulation to prevent that positiveness and catastrophe, right? And drama. And so this energy of this alignment is like, this is where our dreams, our visions, our manifestations, our truths, our soul essence, our dreams from the very beginning, and are also the indications and clarity about where we're going and moving forward in the dream, anchoring in, right? Landing home. Boom. We're here. We're moving forward. We might be inching our way out of this, but we are moving forward again. And so the key word for this time is stability and restoration. That now those funds and energies that we're reclaiming on Earth and in our bodies is all to go for rebuilding the dream, the organic original dream, and our new level of consciousness that we get to join with it. It's glorious. And a new renaissance. And we each have a very specific piece that we play in the fabric of Mother Earth's dream. And that seems to be what wants to become revealed in this time with this conjunction. So it's not just the timeline alignment. It's almost like, okay, so this is a new timeline. Mercury, Mars, Saturn, boom. 7 degrees, Christ consciousness. So it has to do with the advancement of a spiritual evolution. Okay, so we're rejoining, reinstigating, re-triggering, realigning with Mother Earth's body and world realm, devoted to spiritual ascension through growth and harmony, through harmonious growth and learning, not through catastrophe and nightmares. And so it's a beautiful shift. And we stand here at the precipice of this. But in a way, it's like, okay, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, boom. But then so here's a new timeline reset. But what is that? What is that new timeline reset, right? It's almost like that's general energy of spiritual evolution on Earth. But what does that really mean? So we got that Venus coming up to Uranus, massive activation of intuitive technologies in our body. Our technology is activating our light body, Venus and Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus, because Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018, pressuring us, questioning us, challenging us over whether or not we feel worthy of the abundance that's coming in the Aquarian Age. And so this meetup of Venus and Uranus right at the very last few days of Uranus and Taurus, he's going to be in Gemini for good now in this cycle. Not going back. Last year, Uranus took a few months, 3-4 months, went just into Gemini, and then back into Taurus. So this is the end. And if Uranus and Taurus is about getting us to be able to feel worthy enough to receive our wealth, to even know it's ours, it's one thing to break the contracts, it's another thing to claim it back. So this period of time of this next week is our crucial last moment to stand up and take what's ours. Very important for supernova souls on this energetic level. It's kind of like this picture widening out in this security of this establishing of this timeline and energy that's more appropriate for you, and this authority that's growing and widening around you, where the games cannot take hold, right? Only the magic, dreams, and visions can take hold. And the deception and the games and all that is just like falling away. Outer resonance, all these things, energies have been trying to block us. It's like, Satan, get thee behind me, because you don't get to go where we're going. No wonder you want to try to block it. It's because you don't get to go. And that's not our problem. Okay? Go lie in your bed and you will have the appropriate place to expand and grow without catastrophe due to our work. So go on, right? If you're not on the arc of rebuilding Mother Earth and restoration, alignment, do no harm, we are all one and we treat each other as such, in mutual reciprocity, taking care and celebrating this oneness through our individual, unique, creative expression as a devotional practice. These are the tenets that have come forward. 1, do no harm, because we recognize ourselves as connected as an organism. And so on the one hand, it's do no harm, and we're not going to tolerate harm. We must be in all activities, and use of resources and energy must be in alignment with Mother Earth's organic original dream. And that's the laws and rules, the law of the land. Where do we find this law? It's not what Moses brought. That's an interpretation, a secondary symptom of a deeper cause. The law is written in the geometry of Mother Nature and our world, and the mystery of the codes and the numbers that make up this fascinating, amazing reality. And when you are in alignment with Mother Earth's geometry, you're in alignment with the law of the land, and you can't do harm. And so we don't have to figure out the laws, because they're written in her body and our body. And it's a beautiful, glorious discovery. So the second tenet of this original code of Mother Earth's organic, original, loving dream is mutual reciprocity and that every culture from the beginning of time, indigenous culture, based their whole reality on a loving and aware gratitude, reciprocal relationship with Mother Earth as a being. We've got to come back to this. And this is where we take care of each other. We take care of her. It's not like, oh, I'm going to offer something to Mother Earth and she's going to give me something. No, it's this deep, heartfelt celebration and presence, appreciation for what's offered. You know, that more is more. You celebrate together and she's so happy. And so understanding that free energy component, not more is more, mutual reciprocity, and we take care of the individual in order to take care of the whole. We take care of each other. And then the third and final tenet is this individual expression that nobody else can do it your way. Yes, we're connected as a whole organism, but we have an individuated soul essence and a role that we have been chose and have been assigned from the beginning of time, of this evolution of Mother Earth's dream. And we're like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do with her and for her. And we're not, what came through that Aries new moon activation. So go get that activation if this resonates, because it's really important. But it's like secrecy contracts where we agreed to be secret even from ourselves, like to literally be erased in order to maintain and preserve a lineage and secret teachings and technologies. So if we've been erased, no wonder we can't find our greatest gifts and skills of who we really are. Mom says, well, what you really want to work with in this lifetime is what's most hidden from you. So go digging, treasure digging. And that's the energy of Venus and Uranus coming together at this moment on April 24th at 29 degrees of Taurus, saying, you found the treasure. It's you. And can you open it and receive? Can you face who you are? Why were you erased? If you were erased, it might mean because you got something going on. You know, and this is the energy that came forward around Venus and Uranus together this week, is a transformation in the feminine, that she knows what she holds, right? It's like, she's like, oh yeah, no, I know, I realize, like, all these games are trying to distract me so that you can get what I have. And that's a powerful teaching we got through one of the activations, the Mary Magdalene lineage, and that she was like a rebellious teenager, and we saw her having this experience of like having to go away and have her own initiatory experience and, you know, her own truth. And in that time away, she recognized that she had what everybody wanted. Like all the games and everything that was playing out had to do with this creation energy, and everybody, particularly the patriarchal systems, right, wanting to manage and control and own it. So you can see how she eventually got called a whore, because women who don't have a man or are not under a patriarchal control are suspect, right? They're witches right away. Anyway, so we have a whole can of worms we could go there with, but there is this empowerment of the feminine with Venus at home in Taurus reaching, you know, Uranus and being like, yes, I know what you hold. I know what I hold. I have access. Now we as human souls, all of us incarnate in a body, have access to creation energy. And the female form has a little bit easier access, more direct access. And so, of course, it's more blocked, particularly those lineages that have had more access to this like divine feminine magic, which can come through female or male body, you know. But I'll tell you what, if and when we were persecuted in past lives, it's because of that. Whether it was our teachings or our healing, or just standing in the light, you know, we were, that was the feminine energies threatening by existing the patriarchal structures. But look at these structures falling away around us. That comes back to the message that we were talking about from Mother, that it's like, okay, if it's getting so weird that you are so in a movie psyop, that means it's the end, right? It's got to, because, and that's the key. Like, we have to go to this point so that we can understand if we're receiving our wealth and feeling worthy of our true wealth, and our true wealth is our intuitive capabilities, which are connected to co-creation, being able to visualize and create with our mind and our psyche and our intention. And so we need, if we're going to activate that, we need to make sure that, you know, we're in alignment, we can trust, we can handle that energy. Venus, now that Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 8 years, Venus is coming up and she's saying, I got this. I know what I hold. I'm not going to be scared of my own creation energy anymore and let it be manipulated away. So very powerful activation of the technologies in our very own body and a righteousness around that. And it's like, it's so cool because Venus, this empowerment of Venus coming up to Uranus, and she's like, whoa, here we go. Because she comes, and then on the 24th, they cross paths at that 29-degree marker. And then on the 25th, Venus moves over into Gemini, and she's like, come on, Uranus, let's go. And you're like, okay, all right, you know? So it's a surrender within ourselves to ourselves. This other higher intuitive part that's in the treasure box that we hid from ourselves and erased from ourselves, and opening up to this glorious journey of discovery of what is in the Akashic records, rediscovering who we are. And you stand at that threshold though, and you recognize, oh, I can see how I block myself from this, or, you know, because it's kind of intense and it big. It's big. It's as big as you thought it was and bigger. You know, a lot of supernova souls have been called egotistical, and we try to come into our energy and our gifts, and it's a real fine line we walk, like the reluctant leader, because we don't want to control anybody. We don't want to create any karma. We've been there, done that. You know, no, thank you. But we are called into this leadership, into this owning what we have, and not being scared of that co-creative power. So that's kind of the energy of this Venus Uranus. It's like, and then Venus is like, come on, we got this, let's go. And so we're opening up and saying yes and receiving the divine feminine within us, the intuition, the technologies, that power, a waking up, Mother Dragon waking up within us. And because Uranus moving into Gemini has had the feeling, we've been getting the message that it's like, okay, now the song is, we're going to sing the song. We're not going to disclose, we're not going to hide this stuff. And so it's so powerful that Venus is right there at the gate, ushering Uranus into Gemini, saying, yeah, the secrets we're going to disclose are the higher technologies that are the divine feminine technologies, and all the story that goes along with this, of reset after reset of our whole history, all the lies we've been told about our cosmology and science. You know, the truth about all of that is buried with the ancient divine feminine, Magdalene, ancient Egyptian, Atlantean technology information. That the positive use of those technologies available in our own body, buried and hidden with the divine feminine, with the scrolls, with the goddess. And now we're uncovering. But they've been demonized. And so it's just sorting through so much. And but Venus and Uranus and moving into Gemini says, oh yeah, this is disclosure of advanced technologies. This is us saying yes. We've had to say no and defensive posture to so much manipulation. And there's a beautiful energy in this of us saying confidently in alignment and trust, saying yes to this divine feminine guidance and support and knowing and feeling of realigned with devotion. That's the other thing that is making this alignment with Mercury, Mars, and Saturn so defined is Jupiter in Cancer, completed his retrograde, but still in retrograde shadow and just now getting moving again. I mean, Jupiter just made it to 17 degrees. And so this is telling us, because we got that the Jupiter in Cancer coming forward after its retrograde is the tsunami of mother's love coming back into the world. What it should feel like to live and access to life force, you know, in our body. Not this doldrum false, fake, empty, like depressed, disconnected place we've been at for so long, you know? And so this is coming home to that organic original timeline and out of the simulation. It's all the same thing. So Jupiter, in moving forward, is now making it to 17 degrees. We'll make it to 18 degrees on the 25th. So all this stuff will be happening. And it's kind of like, okay, now we have this conjunction, this alignment, we're anchoring in. And then we have the activation of what this means, okay? Because in the first thing is actually, Venus and Uranus on the 24th. On the 26th, the sun comes into square with Pluto, having moved into Taurus. Square with Pluto, and this energy is that kind of initiation. Are you ready? Can you receive? Are you worthy of your abundance? In Taurus, with Pluto in Aquarius. So the sun is like, moving into this abundance, saying, yes, I'm going to receive. And then the square with Pluto says, oh, really? Are you sure you can handle it? Are you sure you're ready? So it's pointing to where we're at in this initiation process. And this all happening at once is so powerful, because we also have on the 27th, the next day after the sun squares up with Pluto, Mercury will be in his square with Jupiter, beginning to trigger the Jupiter square Chiron. So Mercury coming into square is amplifying Jupiter in Cancer and kind of saying, okay, are we going to get this love back? Are we going to have access? Are we going to reclaim the life force energy of Mother Earth that wants to come back into our world? Do we feel loved and worthy? So the Jupiter retrograde had an energy of like that repentance that must happen if we come back into connection, you know, and say to Mother, and this beautiful avenue for us to find spirituality in our lives again, to be reborn with Mother energy so we can connect with the masters and trust again. But if you're going to come back to any master or Jesus, Yeshua, any teacher, God, creator, or Mother Earth, the great mother, there's a period of regret that you spent so far away. It's a prodigal son, right? But when the prodigal son comes back, they're celebrated. It's a celebration. So we're in that weird place. It's almost like this dancing in between timelines is like that. It's like, oh, repentance. Like, oh my God, the nightmare of the Piscean age. And I just couldn't keep my shit together. And I barely made it. And I can't, what even happened? And, you know, and then we've got that juxtaposition of these new possibilities. And, you know, when we're talking about that, we are talking about, we got to go back to Venus Uranus saying, the key to that, the key to feeling the mother's love come back into our world and feeling connected and overcoming our repentance and coming back into connection is this access to the technology in our very own body. Because when you are connected to Mother Earth and your energy field, you can feel that you have everything, right? What Mary Magdalene experienced? She's like, wait a minute, these guys are playing games and they all want what I have. What happens if I just own it and not play by their rules? And that's what we need to do right now. We need her medicine, because we don't know we have this energy in our body, in our creation. It's being stolen and raped from us in ways, if we knew, it would be so disgusted. Like, it's such an affront, you know, of like what's happening to our form. The invasion and infiltration and rape of Mother Earth and our bodies with the technological interference. And it's like, I don't know, maybe that's this part of this disclosure that's coming with Venus and Uranus moving over to Gemini together. It's like, whoa, right? This is not right. Something is not right. And we're finally going to say, hey, we're not going to do it this way anymore. And we have to realize the manipulations before we can say no to the manipulations. And so we come back to this energy of things being so weird, because you've got to realize how much like they're in your psychic field, that there's a file of like everything about you, you know? It's like the way AI is advanced that they're not telling us, you know, what really this is all about, what the Epstein files are really about, like why the profiling through the school pictures program, right? Profiling of features, lineage, DNA, like, so know what you hold. And in this case, it's our DNA, our pure, beautiful God code DNA. And we will not accept anything else besides our beautiful, organic, loving Mother Earth, you know? And we stand with her and we reclaim the resources of this place, reclaiming our own energy from where it's been manipulated away. And so incredibly powerful. And so all of our personal planets are just weighing in to this situation. First, the activation, this alignment, this landing home, anchoring in. All right, we are claiming our permission for spiritual evolution on Earth with the reclamation, the restoration of her beautiful, organic, original dream and temple. We've got this permission for that spiritual evolution, 7 degrees. We got the North Node in Pisces at 7 degrees, one sign over. So we've got Mercury, Mars, Saturn, 777, the North Node 7 and South Node 7. And the North Node at 7 degrees Pisces, one sign over, also speaks to the collaboration thing, that Neptune at 2 degrees. Because the semi-sextile 30 degrees apart is a really magical, only when it's exact is really when you'll feel it, exactly 30 degrees. So here we have this 7 degree marker, and it's saying that the North Node in Pisces, North Node Pisces is ultimately the energy of the birthing of the potential of Christ consciousness, but it was also the persecutions against Christ consciousness. So weighing in on this timeline alignment, the Pisces and the Aries, the fishes and the ram, and it's saying, hey, we have to reclaim the miracles and magic, the healing and connection to forces that was available to us in the Piscean Age, like the definition of the Piscean Age, increased availability of Christ consciousness, miracles and magic and healings. And so it's very interesting that that is informing, right? It's like the Christ consciousness timeline of the Piscean Age and the Christ consciousness timeline in Aries and the Aquarian, in sextile to the Aquarian Age. It's saying we can do this from across the universe, okay? Right? Like we can come together from totally opposite sides, and we can work together against common enemy. So maybe that does mean disclosure in our world, because this whole right, left, Republican, Democrat thing is game over once we understand the evil we're up against. Like we're all on the same team, okay? We just don't realize the level of evil we're up against, or using us against each other, divide and conquer, you know, but it's not working. It's not holding. Now what's holding is our dreams and visions and manifestations and meditations. And so that's interesting, because the South Node is then at 7 degrees of Virgo. And the South Node in Virgo, South Node is karmic from the past. North Node, how are we going to get to where we're going? We got to reclaim the magic of the Piscean Age. South Node, what's holding us back from the past karmically, is the Earth and healing the Earth. We have to heal the Earth. This is about healing the Earth so that the Earth can be Christed. The Christed feminine can manifest through her body, our goddess. You know, so it's about healing the distortions. And that we came in as earth healers from the very beginning. Her devoted stewards and servants witnessing the birth of her dream. And that's kind of the 2 degrees of Neptune. It's like, you guys, we got to come to... We were there at the birth of her dream together in the dream. Each playing our own role, but we were working together. We got to collaborate, or we're never going to get through this next step, you know? And that's the energy of this inconjunct of the South Node in Virgo with this lineup in Aries saying, hey, the 2 timeline, we got to clean up the Earth. It's about restoration. and rebuilding of the earth. So it's kind of cool in a way, because it's like going back in the Piscean age in the past, we have done those nightmares, but we have to look back in a way to find the patterns and the truth of our history and our architecture to rebuild in the right way of the new Renaissance. So there's a different level of looking back. And it's like the true history of Earth and a reclaiming and a restoration of the temples, the beautiful artifacts, the understanding, the sacredness, the repentance for what's been destroyed so that it can be restored and rebuilt. It's just the place we're at on this weird teeter-totter between timelines, but a major marker. And so we've got the Venus activation of like, hell yeah, we're going to come into these technologies and we're going to tell the world about it, sing the song. And the sun is our initiation into what is keeping us from fear of our own power of these higher technologies, pushing us to face the truth of who we are in our higher power that we've been messed with to this level simply because we have that level of power, and we better just own it, step into it. It's ours. We know how to work it and use it. It's not dangerous. So we're working through all of that. And then Mercury square Jupiter. And Mercury in Aries now, ready to understand the new human, the true organic potential. That's Aries, has the potential, the full true potential for humanity. Mercury's understanding of this. In square to Jupiter in Cancer, saying, where's the humanness? Where's the love? Where's the mother? Can we come home to Mother Earth? This is an important thing I keep forgetting to mention in these with the Jupiter and Cancer energy. Cancer is the ruler of the fourth house in our chart. And so in SuperNova souls charts, the energy of the fourth house is often it's traditionally about home and family life and that kind of thing, stability, security, four walls. But in this case, for SuperNova souls, it is about our relationship to Mother Earth as home, our permission to be at home in our full potential as who we are, not erased or hiding, but in our full potential and expression on Earth. And that is the energy of the fourth house. Can you be safe on Earth as who you are? So if we translate to Jupiter and Cancer energy and what that means for SuperNova souls, like, yes, the traditional thing is like a new understanding of home, or you're relocating your home, right? But for us, it's like, oh no, this is a complete reorientation to our relationship to Mother Earth and our permission to be in our full expression on Mother Earth. So it's a big deal. And Mercury square Jupiter, that happens on the 27th, on the day that Uranus moves over into Gemini. So it's a release of this human understanding and compassion. It feels like a perfect energy for disclosure, so all of our personal planets in these configurations, the nodes are on board. Every single planet is involved except for, Black Moon Lilith, which is interesting because we're talking about, okay, we're resetting the quest, the original dream with this Mercury, Mars, Saturn. But what is it? And then it's kind of like, well, Black Moon Lilith is in Sagittarius, and that is our dream. And Black Moon Lilith, our greater quest. Black Moon Lilith, deepest, darkest secrets, often around the feminine. And so here we are. It's interesting that Black Moon Lilith is kind of hanging out there, not interacting with any of the planets. They're mostly at the beginning and the end of the signs, and Black Moon Lilith is right there at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. And after 2 months or 3 months, we had like constant squares with that retrograde with Black Moon Lilith of our personal planets. And now Black Moon Lilith is just kind of like, hey, you guys, what is this about? What did we learn? Did we find anything? What still needs to be uncovered and discovered? Because that information is like the Akashic records that informs this timeline alignment, So let's talk about this. We're going to feel Mercury and Mars together through the 25th. Mercury and Saturn through the 23rd. So these next few days, the next 5 days, so incredibly important in choosing our highest frequency, our highest timeline, anchoring in, seeing ourselves arriving home safe with full permission, not just permission to exist, but permission to thrive, to be in the big, beautiful energy of our advanced technology and bring the world around us, bend spoons of reality, the rainbow bridge that allows us to connect these worlds and to bend to the old and the new. It's kind of like we got a picture in in a session of like looking at this timeline, and then there's this one section of the timeline that's got all these zigzag crisscrosses, and that's like all this time travel and manipulation that's happened in this certain amount of time. And it was kind of a picture of like, oh, you can kind of just cut that whole parasite spider web out and build a bridge, over that. And this is who we are and what we're doing, supernova souls. And so we had to come and face the darkest dark, make friends. Like Lilith, it's her garden. She got kicked out of her garden, and then she became the mother of monsters. And yet, I guess that means she can transform and transmute all the energies back into alignment, and as she steps back into her garden. And that's the energy of Venus and Uranus together this week. Epic, all of this leading up, this Mercury informing the timeline of the clarity of moving forward, who you are. Like in that new moon activation, we got this picture of this exploration and a discovery of our treasures. So very powerful if you want to go get that replay and get that, like we're opening up and remembering what's been erased and owning back who we really are. And so all of this it starts with this alignment today on the 20th and the start of the 19th, and Mercury, our understanding, coming to Mars of the true potential of the human soul, according to going through the back through the Piscean age, kind of. Retrieving Christ consciousness and the potential for Christ consciousness, and saying, catching up to Mars and being like, hey, dude, guess what? I know what we're fighting for. And Mars like, oh yeah, the dream, the rainbow dream. I just crossed over Neptune and now in Saturn, and that rainbow bridge, And so that's kind of, maybe that is the energy, or this rainbow bridge of connecting these realities and worlds. And we get to play this beautiful role in doing that. And if we didn't walk in through the darkest places, we wouldn't have been able to do it. And so forgive yourself and honor yourself. And let's pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. Rest as much as you can. These times are exhausting. Stick true to the vision of what's coming forward. These times are incredibly powerful and amazing. And so for the next 4 or 5 days, really anchoring in and reaching up, she says, to that ideal timeline, to that frequency, being like, oh yeah, it's like this. My new life is like this. Walking my abundance feels like this. Oh yeah, the possibilities could be like this. Like really let yourself dream. And maybe the collaboration of the 2 degrees Neptune is this reawakening and reconnecting to our spiritual guidance. Very powerful, kind of like co-creating. Angels go before me and pave the way as we go through this glorious discovery together. So our collaboration first with the divine and with that higher self and the original plan and dream of what this wants to be. And we got to start there in our own little universe out in the wilderness. And then we can come into collaboration with each other. So we have that energy of this alignment through the next 5 days. That leads us right up into this kerfuffle, crazy, powerful Sun square Pluto, Venus and Uranus moving into Gemini, Mercury square Jupiter, and all of this kind of like, it's almost like we're feeling that crisscross, zigzag reliving of the the patterns of manipulation in order to undo the luck of those manipulations. That's the energy of this week's astrology. Choose the alignment, recognize the patterns, and keep breathing, keep living. Of course, just like, open up to the energy of ecstatic living, that life should be ecstatic. That's what she says. We've been blocked from this. The moment you feel better and you own that for yourself, of the higher dream, then none of their lower games can work anymore to steal your energy, and it will become exceedingly clear in these times. That is the clarity that's coming, is where is it worthy to put your energy right now in the moment? And you decide. You're in charge. This has been a powerful message from her around our will and our thinking, that the mind is the builder. Like, we literally have the co-creative power. But we're in these programs of the grief and the regret and all of those energies and the negativity. We cannot get into the energy of what we want to co-create. So we need to, in these times, activate our will, she says, to just be determined and to set the thoughts and access the energy, be aware of the energy in your body, would say, this is the direction we're going. And all those energies that are invading your psychic field and monitoring and surveilling and all that feeling that's going on right now, they're all going to the dream too, or they're off. They're either going to align and get on work on the projects, on the program, a mom's dream, or they're going to be dematerialized, right? You're on board. Are you going to work? Are you going to tell your minions, that it's time to prove that you're on board the projects. And if not, if you're just standing in the way, then you don't belong in front of me, of us. You've got to get behind us. Do it our way or the highway, because we're with mom. And so this is Aries energy too, of this like proclaiming strength, the will. Mars is strengthened right now in Aries, at home in Aries with Mercury's support and Saturn's backbone kind of like, boom, it's like pulsing. What is this going to be? Boom, 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 boom. And then those pulses are going to ring out over this next few months. And like, what did that mean? What did that really mean? So right now we say, what does it mean? What does this world mean? Where I want to bring my thoughts and my energies, and to fake it till I make it, and bring my, just align and know and live and breathe the higher possibilities and force it. Fake it till you make it in this crucial moments of time, but also allow yourself. One of the other messages around this is that all of the resources and technologies, a crazy amount, have gone into keeping us into like a matrix simulation where we cannot receive the messages and grow. We're just in a loop, but it's not working. And so we're having this opportunity it's actually opening us up into this greater connection of our guidance. And so she reminds us that, I guess that's part of the surrender, that Venus and Uranus together in Taurus is the surrender to the trust, a deeper trust in the alignment, in mother, in not a manipulative fake version, but a real, true spiritual impulse, and being able to tell the difference and the discrimination that's coming. So this is our abundance. But anyway, going back to this point I was trying to make, she says that all of these resources going into interfering with your co-creation and all this stuff and your evolution, really what they're ultimately trying to interfere with is just your a place that she says, it's hard to remember what it's like, but we know through our events and everything, right? It's a place of deep connected peace. There's something of a synapse that connects between our brains and calms down our reptilian brain, and we feel Mother Earth, and everything slows down, and it's like something can happen there. And she's like, All of this craziness has been simply, you could distill it down to try to stop that feeling deep connected peace in the moment. So this is our radical action. And of course, love. You know, they want us angry, they want us in war, and they want to say that Mars is going to be destructive and warmongering. It's like, no, this is the end of all wars. Come on, get with it. We're taking it to another level, you know? And Mars, the warrior action of Mars is that restoration, rebuilding, and passion. The activated masculine is inspired, so inspired by this life force energy of the goddess. He just wants to build beautiful things to celebrate, to make people feel and know that energy. You know, it's a whole different level of warrior, and it has nothing to do with war, right? And this is the end. It's the end of all wars. And he's like playing out the games, but the shift we're in is dramatic and 180 degrees and lasting. I guess that's the thing she really wants us to feel into is maybe your meditations and dreams and visions and clearings and healings can take hold now, right? So do it with more deliberateness, slower. Less is more, because what if it can actually take hold? And instead of a cursory thing of going over your mantras or meditations or readings or anything, be like, whoa, plasma mom, this can take hold. I want to be really present and really aware of any effect or anything I notice as I do this meditation and this this deliberate connection. I don't know. I think we're going to be opening up. I mean, we got that rainbow bridge coming, and we are the rainbow bridge, opening up to a beautiful realm of possibilities. So this astrology of this alignment and anchoring in and landing home and beginning the rebuilding and the restoration, and that's then we've got the powerful dynamic energies of all of our personal planets involved for the end of the last week of April. And that leads us right up into the Scorpio full moon, our next lunation. That's going to be Friday, May 1st or 2nd, wherever you are at in the world. The activation, it looks like, will be Friday, May 1st, potentially. And I think I'm still teaching the goddess activation that day. So, but we'll figure out when that Scorpio full moon activation will be very powerful, because we've got this Scorpio energy coming in and clarifying, redirecting, pointing the direction of what we really need to clear up and get sorted out in this initiatory process to be ready to step into this new chapter. Your new life starts now. And that's the energy of the Scorpio full moon happening at 11 degrees of Scorpio, 21 minutes. Powerful numbers of like stepping through, just holding open with our willful determination, the truth of that we know there's so much more, and then holding it up, having enough of us holding it open, and we can step through into that new reality. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls, for being you and doing the work you're doing. We will find that it's incredible, our contribution to this process, and it will make sense, and it will be worth it. Even though I know we've gone to hell and back. And now is where we have to rapidly reset, and say, okay, we have to tell ourselves it's a different new world now, because we have to unwind our nervous system. So those patterns have to come up, and we can kind of slow down and be like, okay, what if that's how my life's been for 10 years or however long, but now this is a different pattern, but I can't quite move into the new pattern till I unwind the old pattern. So I'm just hanging out, unwinding, rearranging, falling apart, falling down, picking myself up. And that's kind of the name of the game right now. But so powerful in affirming and confirming and demanding and commanding our loving Mother Earth, goddess, original organic dream back on track, and we moving forward is the front line, the cutting edge of the restoration. So thank you so much for being you and for your support. I hope that this is helpful for you. My energy 24/7, I'm here trying to figure out for really putting forward ways to be here and present and support Supernova Souls. So if it's been a support for you, maybe you can support me. Thank you so much for your donations, your little donations, or large or small, coming in. I have 3 ways to donate in the link to donate, the box to donate below, but I've chosen not to monetize these videos, and I feel that I want to continue to offer them in this way. But your support of a donation, kick down, doing a class, getting a session, is all just a beautiful offering and help for the Supernova tribe, and I really appreciate you. We are walking abundance. We are claiming it back, and we're in the rearranging process. But we know we're energy first. It's energy first is the word, then it's manifest. And so thank you for walking in your abundance, for knowing your abundance, for not backing down from the truth within you all these years and all these lifetimes. So thank you so much for your support, and I appreciate seeing you on these events. Go get that Aries new moon activation, powerful discovery of where you may have been hidden so deep and erased from even yourself. And that's a pretty cool discovery, a new movie, right? This has been a bad, scary movie, that we've been in. But what if this new movie, it's like this fun discovery of who you are, right? Hidden treasures, as you're ready, coming uncovered. And thank you for being a hidden treasure and being willing to walk this path and be you, be Supernova Soul, show up for this beautiful collaborative chapter. And so be open to collaboration. We're already collaborating through our masters, our guides, that true aligned connection to source. We're already working together on our projects. So we'll meet you there in the astral plane, and I can't wait to see you in person and get going on what we came here to do. Now the road opens for us, as the Rainbow Bridge is the golden road. And so thank you so much for holding your unique and beautiful place that no one else can hold in the fabric of the tapestry of Mother's dream. Like a warp thread, a golden warp thread. Undestructible, holding the pattern through whatever wants to be woven around in whatever personality constructs and roles and activities and happenings over lifetimes. There's that golden ray of truth, and every experience just makes it stronger. And what a beautiful gift. And not only do we get to share it with the world, but we get to discover it for ourselves with the world, and unpacking and unveiling, unboxing. Can't keep that in Jack in the Box any longer, as we're standing up in our true authority, in our technology. And it appears that might mean our robe of light, armor of God, like actually glowing. So anyway, good luck with that. And we'll be sure to find each other, won't we? So thank you so much, Supernova Soul. I look forward. I hope you have a wonderful week of radical alignment and excitement about getting going on the restoration of Mother Earth's organic original dream, the restoration of our souls, our timeline, our lives put back together, repaid what's been stolen from us, supported in this beautiful building and rebuilding of the new world through a new renaissance. And we get to do it. Lucky us. So thank you so much for going through all you've gone through, being who you are, Supernova Soul. And thank you so much for your support. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Elise. Namaste.